Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm in Puerto Escondido, which is truly one of the most beautiful places on earth. We're going to start the day at a real hidden gem. You would never guess that down this inconspicuous sandy road is a contemporary art gallery. The gallery is called Meridiano, and it was founded in February of 2023 by Nicholas Olney, the president of Casman Gallery in New York, and Boris Vavort, director of the Axel Vavort Company. When talking about the gallery, Vavort said, quote, "Thanks to Bosco Sodi, I discovered this place on the planet and was immediately struck by the link between art, architecture, and nature. Somehow, I wanted to be a part of the evolution of this. To experience art in such a wild place makes you understand the essence right away." The space was designed in collaboration between the Japanese architect Tatsuro Miki and the Belgian designer Axel Vavort. And it's built from locally sourced materials, and it's open to the sun and stars, allowing visitors to feel this passage of time and really connect to the four classical elements: earth, water, fire, and air. The gallery hosts just 2 exhibits a year, so right now it's showing work by Jimena Garrido-Lecca, a Lima-born, Mexico City-based artist. The exhibition is titled Demarcaciones Inversas, which translates to reverse demarcations. It's a name that speaks to rethinking or undoing boundaries, both physical and symbolic. The exhibit features several sculptures made from copper. So Garrido-Lecca uses copper not just as a material, but as a metaphor, exploring the tension between ancestral craft and modern industrialization. So copper is one of Peru's most valuable exports, yet its extraction has often come at a cost to local communities, labor conditions, and the environment. The 3 pieces in this room transform industrial copper into these hand-woven textiles, and in doing so, she's reconnecting the material to its ancient cultural significance, once linked to the sun and fire in pre-Columbian times, and it separates it from modern industrial uses like wiring and piping. In the courtyard, there's a sculpture from her Transmutation series, which is inspired by the wooden structures that migrants have used to mark land on the outskirts of Lima since the 1950s. So these structures emerged during a wave of migration from the Andes and other rural regions as people moved to Lima in search of economic opportunity. Garrido-Lecca's work is informed by the late Peruvian anthropologist Jose Matos Mar, whose writings in the 1980s described the rise of Lima's informal economy, driven by the political and agricultural decline of rural communities. So as modernization concentrated power in the capital of Lima, migration surged, and with it came urgent demands for land, housing, and basic services. We're now going to make our way to Casa Wabi, another modern architecture haven that you would never guess is off of this simple sand road. Casa Wabi is a nonprofit art foundation located on the coast of Puerto Escondido, Oaxaca, founded in 2014 by the Mexican artist Bosco Sodi. And so the name comes from the Japanese concept of wabi-sabi, which values simplicity, imperfection, and transience. This complex was designed by the Pritzker Prize winner Tadao Ando, and Ando's design for Casa Wabi is anchored by this incredible 1,024-foot-long concrete wall that runs parallel to the Pacific Ocean, dividing the property between the sea and the mountains. The structure emphasizes simplicity, geometry, and natural light, with a focus on harmony between architecture and the surrounding landscape. One of my favorite features of the property is the 54-yard-long pool, which is positioned next to the ocean, and it mirrors the sky and amplifies the site's sense of stillness and scale. And then next to the pool is a koi pond, which in Japanese culture, the koi is a symbol of perseverance, balance, and harmony. While Tadao Ando is known for his minimalist concrete structures, he was convinced to incorporate the traditional Oaxacan palapa, the steeply sloped thatched roof made from dried palm leaves, into his design. This is a really beautiful cultural exchange because it represents the heart of what Casa Wabi is about. It's the perfect example of global architectural dialogue where traditional craftsmanship and contemporary design come together with purpose. I'm now going to show you some highlights of the tour that you can take if you visit Casa Wabi. I would check their website for the hours that they're open, and you will need to make a reservation, which you can also do on the website. So I will leave all of that information linked in the description box below. The tour highlights not just the property, but the Casa Wabi Foundation and all of the incredible work that they do. The foundation's mission is to foster dialogue between contemporary art and local communities, using creativity as a tool for social and cultural transformation. So Casa Wabi hosts international artist residencies, with each artist encouraged to develop a community-based project during their stay. And these interactions aim to bridge global artistic practices with the rich cultural traditions of Oaxaca. So I will go into more detail about that a little later in the video. This gallery space is designed by Tadao Ando, and it is 450 square meters, or 4,800 square feet large. And although you can't quite appreciate its scale with the current exhibit that's on view, thanks to the thousands of strings filling the space often features these site-specific installations from internationally acclaimed contemporary artists. This is an exhibit by Chiharu Shiota, who is a renowned contemporary Japanese artist known for her large-scale immersive installations that weave together thread, personal objects, and emotional narratives to explore themes of memory, identity, and human connection. If her works look familiar, it's because you may have seen them before at the Berlin Brandenburg Airport or at the Japan Pavilion at the Venice Biennale in 2015. The exhibit is titled "The World is Yours," and it's an installation that explores the unseen emotional and psychic connections that bind us all. So in it, Shiota invites viewers to reflect on identity, imagination, and the fragility of our shared human journey through symbols like red thread, disused fishing boats, and handwritten reflections from local children. So for this exhibit, Shiota asked a question to each of the kids who participated in Casa Wabi's program over the course of last year. If you were president of the world, what would you change? And that is what we see captured here on the sheets of paper from a variety of ages. It was really important to Giotto to, quote, give local communities an opportunity to voice their ideas of our world and their wishes about how it should be if they can make the rules. So their responses are interwoven with Giotto's poetic visual language, and it just forms this really moving dialogue about empathy, leadership, and the ripple effect of individual dreams. Ultimately, the show is a call to expand our perspective and recognize the invisible ties that connect us across cultures, generations, and oceans. And I don't know about you all, but I can't think of a more powerful or relevant message right now. Adjacent to the gallery is a cinema room, which is used for film screenings, artist talks, and community programs. And when you're on the tour, it's here that you'll watch this beautiful 10-minute video about the foundation. If I can find it online, I will leave it linked below as well because it's really beautiful and informative. This next room highlights works from a few of the previous members of the artist residency and community programs. The Casa Wabi Artist Residency is a unique program that combines deep artistic focus with meaningful community engagement along the coast of Oaxaca. So each residency period accommodates up to 6 artists, and it typically lasts 5 to 6 weeks, and there are multiple sessions throughout the year. So artists are selected through a combination of invitations and open calls, including partnerships with various organizations. Unlike many residencies that prioritize isolation or professional exposure, Casa Wabi fosters 3 layers of dialogue with oneself, with other residents, and with the surrounding local communities. Artists are given the time and space to immerse themselves in their practice while also collaborating with a diverse cohort of creatives from around the world. And what sets it apart is its commitment to social impact. So each resident is encouraged to develop a project that directly engages with one of the 14 neighboring villages, using art as a tool for education, cultural exchange, and empowerment. So this combination of creative retreat and social responsibility honestly makes Casa Wabi one of the most distinctive and purpose-driven residencies in the contemporary art world, and I don't think it's talked about enough. Unlike other artist residencies as well, Casa Wabi does not require artists to produce or donate a work as a condition of participation. The emphasis is on the creative process, community engagement and dialogue rather than deliverables. The works that we see here that are present on the site, whether in this collection, the gallery, or throughout the grounds, have been donated voluntarily. So they've been created during residencies or are on loan. And this approach reflects Casa Wabi's ethos of freedom, generosity, and mutual respect between the foundation and its artists. And I think a lot of the core of this is also because the foundation was created by an artist, by Bosco Sodi. This is Bosco Sodi's studio at Casa Wabi, and it was designed in collaboration with Tadao Ando, and it's a fully open space, as you can see, without doors or windows. And this was intentional so that it would be fully immersed in the surrounding landscape. In fact, it's one of the only places on the property where you can see both the mountains and the sea from the same place. This spacious yet intimate design fosters a really unique atmosphere that has deeply shaped Sodi's practice. He credits this particular studio with inspiring his work in clay, noting that the early morning light and natural rhythms of the site have become essential to his process. The space reflects his belief that architecture and environment directly influence artistic expression. And this is something that I knew about Sodi's work and always admired, but really visiting Wabi in person helped me understand his practice on a much deeper level. So here, the natural elements are in charge. And it's the same with Sodi's work. It's rooted in materiality, imperfection, and the raw forces of nature. He embraces these organic processes using natural materials like clay and pigment, volcanic rock. And he allows the elements like time, weather, and gravity to shape the outcome. So his practice reflects this deep respect for transience and unpredictability, aligning with this Japanese concept of wabi-sabi. This is the observatory, which is also designed by Tadao Ando, and it's this incredible minimalist concrete cylinder that's meant to be a meditative space. And I love that you're forced to bow and be reverent when you enter. Inside, keep an eye out for the building's slightly deformed arc, which is shaped by construction constraints. And this is the symbol of wabi-sabi aesthetic. It's embracing imperfection, and it's the symbol of Casa Wabi. So the structure opens to the sky, which invites quiet reflection and offers a space to observe the passing clouds, light, and time. This is the Atlantis Pavilion, which was created by Bosco Sodi, and it consists of 64 large clay cubes arranged in an 8 by 8 grid, each measuring 6.5 feet across. So over time, these forms are meant to weather and deteriorate, becoming a kind of contemporary ruin that honors nature's impermanence. Created entirely by hand without molds, the cubes are formed through a traditional process involving earth, water, air, and fire, reflecting clay's deep historical and cultural significance, particularly in Mexico. Sodi views clay as a primal material that symbolizes the origin of creativity and human expression. The unpredictable firing process, including smoking with natural materials, results in each cube being imperfect and unique. Again, embracing the wabi-sabi philosophy. So the pavilion is both a sculptural tribute to the earth and a meditation on time, transformation, and the essential nature of being human. The clay pavilion at Casa Wabi is designed by the architect Alvaro Siza, and it's a circular, open air space with a thatched roof and this communal central table. It's created to foster creativity and cultural exchange. The Clay program is one of Casa Wabi's core community initiatives, offering workshops that encourage children to explore form, texture, and self-expression through clay. These sessions not only teach traditional techniques, but they also help restore value to these ancestral materials and practices that have often been overshadowed by modernization. This high-temperature pavilion was designed by Alberto Calac, and it is a 72-foot tall brick chimney that houses a ceramic kiln, serving as both a functional space for firing clay and a symbolic tribute to fire, transformation, and the surrounding landscape. This is the Orchid Pavilion, which is designed by Bernardo Quincenillos, and it's a beautiful, lightweight, sustainable wood structure dedicated to the conservation of native Oaxacan orchids. Created to mimic the orchid's natural habitat, the pavilion provides a humid, shaded, and well-ventilated environment using simple, locally sourced materials like coconut shells and an elegant system of clay-based humidifiers that enable drip irrigation through gravity. Rooted in both Japanese wabi-sabi philosophy and local artisanal traditions, the Orchid Pavilion is not only a botanical sanctuary, but it's a contemplative space that promotes awareness of biodiversity and ecological care. And it really reflects, like all things here, Casa Wabi's mission to connect nature, culture, and design. Designed by Kengo Kuma and Associates, the chicken coop at Casa Wabi is a beautifully crafted, functional pavilion that blends traditional Japanese aesthetics with modern architectural experimentation. Constructed from interlocking, charred wooden boards, the structure features lattice walls and a breathable design that provides both shelter and ventilation for the chickens and roosters. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, these are just a few highlights from Casa Wabi. There's actually even more on these gorgeous grounds. It's truly such an extraordinary property and program that has so many incredible attributes. It's hard to create a video that can do it justice, but I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you all in my next video.